Nobody grows up thinking one day they're going to be a drug addict or they're going to fall into that kind of lifestyle. But as a young child, I unfortunately was the victim of sexual assault very young. As a young adult, I was also assaulted. I was in a very bad relationship. And when I was 19, I found myself pregnant. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. God had other plans. In 2004, I went into premature labor and I gave birth to my daughter, Amaya, who sadly passed away. Dealing with her loss was hard, and there was a lot of guilt as time progressed and I aged. I started developing medical issues, but also during that time, I was continuously being prescribed opioid painkillers. As I dealt with my recoveries and I dealt with all the stressors of everyday life, I noticed that there were times that I felt like I couldn't function. I just felt like there was nothing left to keep me going. There was a point that I realized that when I took these painkillers, that it was numbing some of that emotional pain. I, over and over again, would cry out to Jesus and I would ask him to please make this stop. I could feel that on the inside that I was a mess, and on the outside, I was afraid to admit those things because on the outside, I looked like I had it together. One of the things that my husband and I always said was, it seems like OHC knew what message we needed to hear. At this point, I was 1 month newly sober and continuing my recovery. That morning, Max delivered a beautiful message about tetelestai, the concept that Jesus knew our transgressions and still chose to die a sinner's death to give us life. And in that moment, I knew that I had made the right choice in putting my hope in Jesus and allowing him to take the reins. Instead of asking him and putting it on him to make me do something, I invited him into my heart to change me, to transform me. And that Sunday is the Sunday that I stood up and I said, I want Jesus to come into my heart. I knew things weren't going to be the same because over the past year, I have struggled, but I wasn't alone. I knew that I could put it on Jesus, that he was there for me and would not let me down. I was 11 months into my sobriety journey when I heard Travis preach. During that message, he said,
but you don't get baptized once you've cleaned your heart up. You get baptized because Jesus has given you a new one.
That message was meant for me. And I stood up in that service and my husband was laughing at me. He's like, you're gonna do that right now? Like, you don't have a towel, you don't have a change of clothes? I was like, I don't care, I need to be baptized now. And so with that, I plugged my nose and I went under the water. And when I came up, I cried, but this time the tears weren't of shame. They were of absolute joy. I felt so much different coming out of that water than I had felt from within. What alive again means to me is constantly changing. It means that I've been transformed. It is Easter. I am 12 months sober and I am alive again in Christ.